What's up, everybody, man? Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome my special guest, man. He's been a friend of the show, and he was a co-host for the Round Check years ago, but we still talk here and there, man. What's up, my guy, Niner Gang podcast? Deon, man, how's it going, bro?
Hey, man, how you doing? Appreciate you having me on.
Oh, yeah, man, but hey, you know how I roll with, man. For those people who want to check your platform, man, tell them where they can find you.
You can come on the YouTube and just find me at Niner Gang Podcast. As you can see, it's the way it's spelled on the screen is the way you spell it there. You can follow me on X at Niner Gang Podcast as well. That's where I'm at.
Oh, yeah, for sure, man. And you know why we're here for, man, because all this little debate right here, man. So we gotta get on a good start, man. Man, we got Saturday morning matchup, man. We got to get the argument, man, because I know we have a complete opposite of what we feel like.
Mm-hmm. So for us, we both, one person feels one way about Kyle. I feel another way about Kyle. So we got to make sure we keep that rolling, so to speak. But yeah, man, I'm more so opposed to keeping Kyle Shanahan. Where CG is for keeping Kyle Shanahan. I know a lot of people look at me crazy because I say that I would rather go ahead and move forward and move on. But I have my reasons, and my reasons are valid, and my reasons are factual. It's not just I don't like Kyle Shanahan. It's more so he's giving me lots of reasons not to like him.
And that's where I draw the line with how can you replace the man? Are we going to go back to mediocrity? That's my question right there. Because, it's not easy to find a good head coach overnight. And I know your reason is we've been waiting 10 years to win a Super Bowl. And Kyle has how many times? Twice. He choked twice. And I will say he made some stupid decisions, but what other coach hasn't?
Yeah. So for me, my biggest thing with it is the unfortunate thing when it comes to Kyle Shanahan and Super Bowls is the man's 0-3. He's lost one as a coordinator. He's lost two as a head coach. And his father, Mike Shanahan, when he was a head coach, he didn't lose any Super Bowls. He only won two, but he didn't lose any Super Bowls. And the last Super Bowl that we won was under his offensive guidance, a.k.a. Mike Shanahan, in 1994. So for me, looking at you getting there, things not working out, and it being a consistent thing, that's the frustrating thing for me. It's that, and the other thing is you've lost to the same people twice. And I know that in the world, they have the old saying, third time's a charm. I don't think third time's a charm. And the reason that I state that is because you've lost to this team twice in the Super Bowl and you can't beat them at all. You've never beaten the Kansas City Chiefs as a head coach. And that is alarming that every time you come up against Steve Spagnuolo, Andy Reid, and Patrick Mahomes, you fail. That doesn't work out. Because we want to win. We want to be able to beat any and everybody, whether we come to their house or they go into our house. We want to be able to get that done. If you've watched any of the 49ers that have been talking about the schedule release, we play Kansas City. Not a soul said we was going to win that game.
Nah, not one bit. But here's your argument of what you said about Mike Shanahan. Since people want to credit Kyle Shanahan for that Falcons Super Bowl loss, how many losses did Mike Shanahan lose as an assistant? I'll dig, man. That's my defense, man. 0-3. Mm-hmm. That might sound delusional. That might sound too optimistic at that point. But, yeah, like you said, third time the charm may not be something you buy into. But for me, man, it gives me some shiver of hope, man. But, man, dude, so we're going to still give Kyle credit for the choke job for the Falcons, right? I get that he's responsible for the plays and all that, but we're not going to say Mike Shanahan was a choke artist when he was an assistant too.
See, Mike was an assistant. He was doing that.
He was OC.
That's the thing. He was an OC, but what you have to say is yes, Mike Shanahan will take credit for those L's too. But the difference between Mike and Kyle, Mike got killer instinct. Kyle don't. This is that's the biggest thing. And Mike Shanahan knew how to keep his foot on the gas, where Kyle did not. Now, if we're looking at Mike Shanahan and those 3 Super Bowl losses that he took as an offensive coordinator, what were the numbers? What were the scores? Who did he play against? I don't know, because I don't know those. That I didn't know that information as far as him having those 3 losses as an OC. I can understand that, but this is what I will tell you. For me, the reason that I give Kyle Shanahan partial credit for that loss is because your offense didn't produce no points. Bill Belichick literally went in at halftime and figured you out in 15 minutes. He figured you out.
And that's a fair argument.
Down. And the issue is you're the offensive coordinator, so you're the one making the calls. Because we all know who was that? Who was their head coach? Was it Dan Quinn?
Dan Quinn, but he was, but the DC.
Dan Quinn is focused on defense. He ain't focused on the offense. He care less. He ain't got nothing to do with that. Everybody touts you as the greatest offensive mind in football. Everybody's running a version of your system, the whole 9 yards. Here's the thing: people are running a version of your system a little too much, and a little better than you, and that ain't good. That's not good for business with the 49ers, because a lot of people will give him credit for things, but then they don't pay attention to the whole picture. One of the biggest things that I have that I don't care for is national media and the things that they say without really paying attention. They just give blanket statements and they don't do the research.
Well, a lot of it comes with a lot of hype, but yeah, Kyle is a brilliant play caller. Let's give him credit that. But as far as what you think, bro, I mean, what did you believe? Believe in all general. Like you said, hey, you had so many chances. Enough's enough. That's your narrative. But let's put it this way, man. Like, if you want Kyle and John gone, who are we going to replace him with? Man, we got it. Like,
so look, you've got right now still on the market. Sean McDermott is out there. He is definitely one of the coaches that's out there. Now, I know Sean McDermott has not won a Super Bowl with Josh Allen, and that definitely is a knock on him, but he is one of those dudes that is still out there. Brian Flores, the defensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings. I know he just signed an extension, but you could look at him as a possible replacement for Kyle Shanahan. Oddly enough, Mike McDaniel, former offensive coordinator for the 49ers. I wouldn't mind seeing what he could do as a head coach. I know what happened in Miami, but honestly, it's the Dolphins. There are certain teams in the league, when you take those jobs, you already know you're probably not going to do much of winning. And the Dolphins, the Jets, you know what I'm saying? No disrespect to the Browns, but the Browns, there are just certain places you're going to go in the league where you know these teams aren't going to do anything. And when you take these head coaching jobs, you know already you have a very, very small chance of winning. Look at what happened with Robert Saleh. He went to the Jets, and what happened? Nothing. Defense solid, offense trash. So it's the fact that you have a variety of options. You know what I'm saying? Heck, Mike Tomlin, he's out there. But, you know what I'm saying? Tomlin is another example of low-key Kyle Shanahan, because the difference between him and Kyle is Tomlin had never had a losing season. But then again,
he's got a ring.
But he ain't won a playoff game in God knows how long. So when you take a look at these things and you see what's going on and you see the landscape of the league, there are options out there. I know that every Niner fan is afraid of going back to mediocrity, and they don't want to do that and they don't want to do this. So you would rather have a coach that has up and down years, because he's only had 3 years of consistency his whole career. If you look at it, from 2021 to 2024 is the only time the 49ers were consistent, which is in turn brings me to the national media. Every 5 seconds I hear, man, every year you got a chance. Every year you're competitive. No, we're not. So my thing is, if you're going to talk about it, talk about the reality. Do the real research. Look at the history. Kyle Shanahan has 3 consistent years, 2021 to 2024. Other than that, it's either winning or losing, one of the two. He does not have that longevity. And because of what he did with that injured team last year, now he is being touted as he should never leave the 49ers and he should have a lifetime contract. What about all those other years we were injured, beat down, and broken? He didn't do anything in those years, but we seem to, it shows you the national media has a liking for him and they pick and choose what they look at. So all they look at is the success that Kyle Shanahan has had. They don't pay attention to his failure. They don't pay attention to all of the things that have been done that technically are fireable offenses for any other coach.
Well, for his fireable offense, like you're saying, those seasons where they had injuries and all that stuff, but in the reality, bro, I guess you can say it's excuses because he had a lot of depleted roster, but last year he kind of did better than expected. I mean, maybe our season could have been over last year, but maybe you can credit Robert Saleh's defense. Maybe you can credit a different way of how we had the next man up. I mean, we had some guys stepping in, playing like starters out there. So it's like, I mean, I guess you're the kind of guy that's seen enough of Kyle. Like, it doesn't matter what Kyle does. He has to win the Super Bowl to satisfy you. You know, that's what we are as fans. We want the Super Bowl. That's not like the standard of what you're telling me is that I'm never okay with second place. I just want to get to the Super Bowl and win one, of course. But in order to get there, we got to get somebody that's as good as Kyle, if not better. You know what I mean? We can't just what's the chances? Seattle is a different example because Pete Carroll was outdated. He lost touch. He was coaching for so many years. Kyle's not at that stage, but if you fire him, what happens if he ends up being Andy Reid? Wins elsewhere.
Here's the thing. And I love that argument because a lot of people use that, and I've utilized that mainly in my explanation of why I don't want Kyle here, is because the Eagles eventually told Andy Reid, "Thank you for your service, but it's time to go." Why? Because he only got to the Super Bowl once. Now, mind you, Kyle got there twice, but he only got to the Super Bowl once in Philly, and he lost. So my thing is, if they could have Andy Reid there for all those years, and Jeffrey Lurie wake up one day and say, "You know what? I really need my team to start winning the Super Bowl," and you're not the guy because you've been here more than enough time. I've given you more than enough draft picks. I've done all the things that we needed to do and put us in position to get to the Super Bowl and actually win, so I can turn around, therefore, and give you another contract, but you haven't done it. And that tells me that owner wants more. So they let him go. Not even a few years later, Doug Peterson walks in the door. Boom, Super Bowl. It took Andy Reid another 7 years after he left the Philadelphia Eagles to win a Super Bowl, mind you. So don't think that Andy left and then boom, turn around and turn to a superstar. Next thing you know, he's just winning Super Bowls left and right. It was not until Patrick Mahomes fell in his lap that he started winning. And that's just truthfully the case. So you got to think about it. All that time in Philly, and then another 7 years before you actually touch gold, that tells you already it is an arduous task winning a Super Bowl. My thing with Kyle Shanahan is we've been there twice. You failed us twice. You now are the third best head coach in your division. You know why? Because Sean McVay got a Super Bowl. I don't care that everybody likes to put an asterisk on it because it was in the COVID year. Same way they put an asterisk on the Lakers championship in the COVID year. Championship is a championship. I don't care whether you play 15 games or whether you played 140. If the season's shortened due to whatever, you win, you win. That's it. You're the champ. Nobody can tell you nothing. I don't care if you want to put an asterisk next to mine. I can put my hand up and there's a big old ring on it that says I won a championship.
Or asterisk this ring right here.
Exactly. So my thing with that is you can't therefore use Andy Reid because then if that's the case, that means Kyle Shanahan leaves us, goes somewhere else for another 7 years. He doesn't even fathom the thought of winning a Super Bowl. So that just tells you that the dude just right now, for me, I'm sorry, I don't feel like he has it in him to get us over the top. The man is horrible in the fourth quarter when he's trailing. Horrible. His record is just flat out ridiculous. When you go into the fourth quarter trailing with Kyle Shanahan, Your chances of losing are almost 99%. The man's only won like 1 or 2 games. Mike McDonald, Sean McVay have both won Super Bowls. And if in some way, shape, or form, LaFleur down in Arizona, where I'm at, if he finds a way to win a Super Bowl before Kyle, that is extremely.
You won't hear the end of that.
Like you can't like, and what bothers me is, once again, I know what you did last year. Fantastic work. That is great. You took a very injured, beat up team into the playoffs. You wound up not being one and done, which was fantastic, but you ran into another buzzsaw in your division.
And they wanted your house. That
exactly. Like, I don't care what nobody says. Kyle Shanahan did something for me that was unforgivable. Before the Super Bowl, they were talking about things. They were at Levi Stadium. And they were talking about, the Super Bowl and everything. And Kyle jokingly, and I really do mean jokingly, if you watch the clip, he literally jokes and says, well, I've lost 3. Now maybe I'll win 3 straight. This isn't funny. It's not a joke that you lost 3 Super Bowls, sir. You are a head coach of the 49ers franchise. That is a storied franchise. Basically, in the 80s, you wanted no smoke with this logo on the helmet. We ran the 80s. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knew that we were the monsters in that division. Everybody knew and understood it. And, you know what I'm saying, even into the early 90s, we started doing that. But the thing was, we had a head coach at that time who had a hunger, a drive, and a will to win, along with an owner who had a hunger, a drive, and a will to win. I don't believe that Jed York cares about winning Super Bowls anymore. He started to care, and then he just started getting distracted, thinking about other things, talking about soccer teams and all kinds of stuff. And now all he cares about is money.
That's what most of these owners these days are. I mean, the Yorks are just not built for this business. They're just built for just trying to take the money. But the one thing that kind of rubbed me off about Kyle going into that Super Bowl, when I didn't get a chance to see it, but I've seen it from clips where he was kind of analyzing how you can beat Seattle or how Seattle beats, bro. Like, dude, you couldn't even do that going into the season. Why couldn't you get a running game going or this or that? You analyze that's different, but he can't get the philosophy. Like, the one thing I'll question Kyle Shanahan that I will agree 100% is, why can't we just get these big offensive linemen that move and actually can bully those type of defenders? Because we're playing Seattle with these bully defenders. You're playing Philadelphia. They got big dogs. You got the Rams who play physically tough with those guys. You need those big, nasty boys, bro. Not those, not like those Jake Brendo softies, man. We don't need none of that on our team.
Kyle does not see, and that's another thing. He's neglected the offensive line since he's been here. Every time we do the offensive line, we just put a ragtag bunch of guys together and hope and pray that they work out. Okay? I'll give
try to run the Broncos philosophy from the 1990s, bro. That's way past.
Yeah, that's not going to work. And here's my thing. Did you get Trent Williams? Yes. Was Mike McGlinchey a hit? Only in the run game, because in the pass pro, he was trash. But he did enough to get himself paid. I'll give you that much. You know what I'm saying? But outside of that, name another guy that they drafted, developed, that has become someone. Anybody who fathoms the thought of becoming someone or being better than what they are, they leave. Spencer Burford is out the door. Mike McGlinchey left, went to the Broncos, got paid. Aaron Banks went to the Green Bay Packers and got paid. So all these dudes you start developing, and they seem to be good, but you can't pay these dudes. You can't figure out how to keep a good offensive lineman around. You and Chris Forrester continually just, slap Niner fans in the face by not drafting offensive linemen, or if you do, you want to draft them in the later rounds. Like,
we rather invest the guys who catch the ball, make plays. Like, that really ruffles me with Chris Forrester.
And then here, my biggest thing as well is Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch too. This is a combo thing on this point. If you are an organization and you fail at something miserably consistent, you just fail at it. You're not good at it. It just doesn't work. And someone calls you out on that and you laugh about it, that's a slap in the face to the fans. Number one thing that Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch do that sucks with their drafting, they keep drafting running backs. Why?
Yep.
Because you don't use them. I could run through every running back that they have drafted and tell you none of them have worked out. The only running back that they drafted that had any success was Elijah Mitchell. And the
any of
man
the undrafted guys.
healthy to save his life. And I think he was we did draft Elijah Mitchell. He was drafted.
Yeah, sixth round. He was drafted sixth round.
Yeah, but he is the only one that worked out, and then he couldn't stay healthy.
Yeah. Durability was the
He's now, I don't even know where he is. I think he's on somebody's team, but he couldn't.
He got cut by the Patriots, if I'm mistaken.
Yeah, so when you take a look at it, the people that they did better with are undrafted free agents. Matt Breida, Raheem Mostert, Jordan Mason. So you can pick up a dude off the street and he's better than what you draft. That tells me that you have a problem. You don't know how to properly evaluate talent at the running back position. And that is an issue because your system literally turns running backs into stars. And the other thing that I will say as well is here's another negative that comes along with it. Every time you get CMC on the field, you run him into the ground. You gave that man over 400 touches. And at the beginning of the season and at the beginning of other seasons, you have said this same blatant lie that you need to protect CMC from himself. Well, if you're going to protect a man from himself, why are you giving him 400 damn touches? If you're going to protect a man from himself, why is he always on the field? Do I understand the dynamic of Christian McCaffrey, what he brings to the table, the threat that he is as a receiver and a runner? I completely understand it. But Christian McCaffrey is not the only back we had on this team. We had Jordan Mason healthy for a plethora of games. Didn't want to do it. When the Super Bowl came and Elijah Mitchell, of all people, was actually healthy, Jordan Mason, of all people, was actually healthy, you forced on that field Christian McCaffrey with a bad calf. You forced him out there instead of running a 3-back system. They're not. Here's the thing. You become predictable and it makes you look bad. They knew to prepare for Christian McCaffrey. There's not a team in this league that's going to tell you, yeah, when we play the Niners, we prepare for all of their backs, not just one. They look at when they say we prepare for the Niners, the first thing they do is look at the injury report because we need to see who's playing and who's not. Then we can focus on who we need to focus on.
Oh, yeah. Christian McCaffrey is the guy.
Would tell you, hey, I focused on Christian McCaffrey because that's the only player they had that was worth focusing on. I wasn't worried about Ricky Pearsall. He ain't going to do nothing but get injured anyway. I wasn't worried about Juwan Jennings because he was injured off and on all last year. You know what I'm saying? I'm not worried about Kittle. Why? He was injured too. So it's if your team constantly struggles with injuries and then you make your team one-dimensional by overfeeding one player and not, varietizing the kind of guys that you bring at other teams, how do you expect to win? They already know what Christian does. Everybody knows Christian McCaffrey at this point in his career is not a home run hitter. If Christian McCaffrey gets by you, as long as you got a good 20 to 30 yards, you can catch him. If you got 10, maybe he's still got enough get off to get away from you. But he's not taking anything 90 yards.
Nah, it would be
nothing 50, 60 yards. That's not who he is. And it's nothing against him. I love what he does. But it's just understanding the strengths and weaknesses of your players and your team, along with knowing when to spell guys in a proper manner so that you don't overwork them. I would have made sure I split some carries and utilize Brian Robinson Jr. more, which is why I stick on it sticks in my craw that they failed about all those running backs and they laughed about it. That's a slap in the face to the fans. That means we're going to keep screwing this up and we could care less how you feel. And I don't like that. That's not cool to me. You can't fail at something consistently. Somebody call you out about it, and then you just act like it's a nothing. You've drafted all kinds of running backs. None of them have worked out, and that's funny to you. You didn't listen to your scouts with your first draft pick when they told you not to draft Solomon Thomas because he does not fit the system that Robert Saleh is running, and you did it anyway. You hooked him up because he was a Stanford Cardinal. Good job, John. And where's Solomon Thomas now? Oh, I forgot. No one knows and no one cares.
Nobody knows, but it's like the point of the view of what you're saying about the running backs, dude. It's like they need to find ways to utilize more of the running backs. And you know what? The Isaac Orlando draft pick just seems like they don't really like him at this point, but he does offer the breakaway speed. He can get you those 70-plus yard runs.
Gorindo literally can house it. He is our guy.
Yeah, one open hole, he can take
gone.
it. It's just no trust with he just seems like in that doghouse, and I don't like how Kyle's treating him.
Yeah, what I've heard is that his blocking isn't up to par, and that's why he doesn't get on the field.
That's why we got Black at running.
Yeah, here's my thing. I don't care about your blocking. I just need you to run the rock. If that's the case, if you know that's a guy's weakness, the simplistic thing to do from a coaching standpoint is to work with that guy on his blocking. Make sure he continues to get it up to par, but know his strengths and his weaknesses and play to his strengths when he's on the field. If you know he's not a good blocker, don't put him in a position to block. Bring him in on a play that you know probably is going to be ran to perfection by your line, that you know if he gets that slither of a hole, he's gone because you've seen the speed. You're not paying
what Grando's capable of. Yeah,
exactly. You're not paying attention to that. You're just saying you can't block, you don't get on the field. You know, I mean, Danny Gray said it some years ago, no block, no rock. And look where Danny Gray is. Oh, I forgot. Another guy we don't know.
Nowhere else, man. But now they're just using Calvin as an afterthought. Like,
yeah, and I did a breakdown on John Lynch's drafts. You know what I'm saying? Since he's been here, bro, it's bad. It is bad.
He makes Trent Baalke look like a genius.
I mean, he is looking bad as it is. Matter of fact, I'll just give you that as a little nugget. I know.
Is he as bad as Trent Baalke bad, or he makes Trent Baalke look better?
No, man. They both are trash.
Oh man.
So that means Baalke's bad, but
so that means John Lynch checks the boxes like me.
Yeah, he ain't been doing very well, and I'll tell you because I'm gonna look at it right now. I got to pull it up.
Stanford, he's a smart guy.
Yeah. So let me see. Where is it? Is it this
Solomon Thomas, and I thought the Reuben Foster could have been a hit, but he couldn't stay healthy, and he just had that incident, so that's what ruined his.
Yeah, no, Reuben Foster, man, he just the biggest problem with Reuben Foster was the fact that he had
he was reckless as a hitter.
He was reckless, and then he had issues with that girl off the field, man. He didn't know about all that.
But talent was there, no doubt.
Yeah. Trying to find this thing. Where the heck did it go?
I mean, outside of Nick Bosa and Brandon Ayuk, that's pretty much been his hits in the first round.
Yeah,
but Ayuk ain't nowhere now.
Yeah, no, that's definitely
just on the doghouse list now.
Yeah, I can't find it, but I believe I had to look it up. But I know that for a fact, Kyle, if you look at all of the draft picks that they have picked throughout the years, they've only hit on 16.
But mostly on the later rounds, they've always found some guys out.
And John Lynch's best round is the fifth round.
Fifth round.
And he's only 50-50 in that round, people. I'm telling you, look, for everybody there was one guy, I forgot, I think it was Pelissero. Pelissero was on NFL Network, and there were a couple other guys that he was with. And one guy said he doesn't like the geeks who talk trash about John Lynch and his drafts and all this other stuff. Here's the thing. You know why you called us geeks? Because you didn't do the research. You praised him strictly based on the 49ers record. I heard this dude. He went over our record over the last 3 years. And because we had one winning, one losing, and another winning, we're idiots. Here's the problem. In those times where we had those winning seasons, draft picks weren't a factor, buddy. Look at any of the draft picks that he drafted in any of those in those years.
We had more veterans at the time.
They weren't contributing on that level as if he picked up gems every time. He doesn't.
Some of them were redshirt guys, and some of them were pretty guys that were just guys to learn. But
yeah. And then my biggest thing, I'll say this: at one point in Kyle Shanahan's career, he was the worst head coach for us ever, based off of his record. He hadn't won any Super Bowls, and he literally was under 500. People don't remember that. because they don't like to look at that. And once again, when people talk about Kyle Shanahan, it is cherry picking all of the positivities. I give him everything as a whole. And what I want to say, people, is I'm realistic. And I will tell you this. If you are a Kyle Shanahan fan and you want him here, you are going to be a happy camper. He's not going anywhere. He is not going anywhere. And I'll tell you why. Jed York at the owners' meetings made it very clear. Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch be here as long as they want and as long as they feel. Now, mind you, in the beginning when they got here, Jed York was singing a different tune. We're not here to hang NFC Championship banners. We're here to hang Super Bowl banners. And then you change your tune to, well, it's not so bad losing the Super Bowl. So let me get this straight, Jed. You took over the team from your uncle. You're 0-3 in Super Bowls where he was 5-0 in Super Bowls. And now it's okay to lose a Super Bowl. It's not a big deal. And then, of course, any comments that he has about Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch are glowing. I can tell you right now, if anybody would go, it would be Lynch, but I don't think he would be fired. I think he would be promoted within the organization, and then they'll just bring somebody up within the organization to take his place as general manager. Here's the key. The GM needs to be the GM, and Kyle needs to stay out of it. Kyle needs to walk into the GM's office, hand them a list of prospects, and say, these are the guys that I'm looking at that I like, and that should be it. And your offensive coordinator and your defensive coordinator should do the same thing. And then your GM should take a look at those guys, talk to his scouts, figure out what's going on, and then make the draft picks. Kyle should not be in there making no picks, saying anything, because he only screws up the picks that he gets. Because 9 times out of 10, he's smiling big when he drafts a running back that does nothing. He literally passed up on Patrick freaking Mahomes because you saw something. And CJ freaking Better. And what is he?
CJ Better. Dude, I never understood that part.
There's a lot of fireable offenses. The Trey Lance debacle. Do you understand how
the Jimmy G trade kind of helped them a little bit, if I'm being honest?
The only reason the Jimmy G trade fell through is because of what? Kyle Shanahan was in love with his then girlfriend, Kirk Cousins.
And he wanted
what
that.
Happened? He thought Kirk Cousins was going to land in his lap. And when Kirk Cousins did it, you had to take the fallback option of Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, did Jimmy come in and we start winning games? Yes. But if you look at Jimmy's numbers during those games that we won, it was not good. Jimmy Garoppolo was actually over. He was over interceptions and under on TDs. Like, we just wound up. So I don't know. It just brought some.
And the running game had to be perfect for him to get everything.
Yeah. Yeah, but it tells you these are the things that happen. The reason I bring up the Trey Lance debacle is because I've seen head coaches fired over stuff like that. You never gave that kid a clear shot. You never gave him a chance. And then you acted like you didn't know how to put an offense together for him. But when y'all drafted him, the word is you were on the plane, drawing up plays immediately for him. That's something different, but go ahead and rebuttal that if you would like. I know I was talking for a minute. I'll give you a chance because I still got more in the chamber.
Nah, but like you said, he didn't even give Trey Lance a chance to develop. It's like he didn't have no patience for the guy. You look at the way how the way they've been drafting and the way they've been keeping a team afloat. Like, you would think it's luck for some reason because of the guys they brought around. When it comes to development, man, they're just looking for that certain talent, but their luck is in the later drafts. I don't think they're the ones that make the choices. I think it's the ones the ones who do the front office. I think in the early picks, they do something. But when you look at their history of early rounds, that's what frustrates me as a Niners fan, dude. Like, why do we have to reach for a freaking kicker? Why do we have to draft running backs every year? Why not just get one undrafted, like you said, or later rounds? Like, there were other positions we could have filled. Like, maybe getting a center could have been nice. I'm sick and tired of Jake Brendel. I'm just – Chris Forrester needs to either get that guy out of the building or he needs to get it packing. I don't care how good of an offensive line coach he is. He's overrated, bro. He can't even evaluate the center position to save his life.
I can agree with you on that because, like I said, there's just been some players that have been good, some that have been bad. But I'll say this, and I always say this, and people always wind up being upset about it. But I always preface my comments by stating this: Kyle Shanahan is not racist in any way at all.
He's ignorant.
You know why? Because Kyle Shanahan gets a lot of black people hired. I can tell you that. If you're on Kyle Shanahan's coaching staff, he will give you a ghost position that you probably didn't even ever hold. And magically now you went from a quality control dude to somebody's assistant linebacker coach.
Yeah, third round
you went from assistant linebacker coach to defensive coordinator. Like, the dude gets people hired.
He gets minorities hired for sure. Like, even those third round comps come into play. So.
Yep. But I say all of that to say this: he does not mess with black quarterbacks. He just doesn't. Kyle Shanahan's preference at quarterback is white. There is nothing wrong with that, but that is the type of quarterback that he prepares for and he can utilize. If you notice, when he had RG3, he ain't want him. Mike and Kyle did not want RG3. That was Daniel Snyder. He forced them to take RG3. But what did they do? To smite him, they went right back in the 5th round and got the quarterback they wanted to draft anyway in Kirk Cousins. And
which that man's still in money.
Yeah, as you can see, RG3 did not work out. And you can look at Kirk Cousins. That man has stolen more money from the NFL without the hope of winning a playoff game. We're not even talking about, we're not thinking or fathoming a Super Bowl. We're talking about not winning a playoff game. This man has robbed the league.
He's heisted the entire league.
Him and his agent need to be on trial for malpractice.
For robbery, bro.
Because I can tell you this: I have never seen somebody pad their stats year in year. Now, don't get me wrong.
And get
Kirk
money.
Cousins is one of the nicest human beings on planet Earth. I look, the man still drive. I think he still drives a Chevy Astro van, for God's sakes.
But that guy smiles like he looks like one of those. He looks like one of those creepy guys. But he looks.
Yeah, he's a very humble guy. He's a faith-based dude. I love him, Christian man. But as far as if you're telling me, does that man deserve all of the money that he received?
Nah, he's just an average Joe.
No, he was not. He doesn't win playoff games. He doesn't give you a chance to win the Super Bowl. Yet everybody seems to keep paying this dude. The last guy before him that kept robbing the league, who came in right before the new CBA hit, Sam Bradford. Sam Bradford never did nothing for nobody in the NFL.
He couldn't stay healthy.
He couldn't stay healthy, but every contract Sam Bradford had was in the double-digit millions. He never had a contract under $10 million. And that just tells me that his agent was utilizing anything he could to make sure that he got his client as much money as he did. And I'm not mad at that. But what I'm saying is,
it's money, bro. They got to get whatever they can get.
Yeah, Kyle Shanahan with the Trey Lance thing, you screwed that up. That's one black quarterback. You got RG3, that's another black quarterback. You got Donovan McNabb, who you and your dad only dealt with because you just needed a veteran. It's not that, and I will say it again. I never ever stated Kyle Shanahan is. I said he has a preference at quarterback. I'll give you a simple example. You know what people have preferences? They have preferences in dating. I know a lot of dudes whose preference in dating is white women. I know a lot of dudes' preference in dating is black women. I know a lot of dudes whose preference in dating is Latin women. Everybody has a preference of certain things. I am simply stating Kyle Shanahan's preference is white quarterbacks. That's what
he has his preference of like the arm talent. You got to be a guy that throws the ball.
And I'm not stating I'm mad at it. I'm not mad at it. Hey, do your thing, bro. If you notice, who does he win with? White quarterbacks.
But ones who can operate with like a computer system. That's what he looks for.
And it's a specific skill set that he looks for. But that just comes from the people that he chooses.
He doesn't want to develop them. He wants them to learn off the fly quickly. That's his only preference.
Yeah, my biggest thing with Kyle Shanahan, very simply put, is you're not getting the job done. And unfortunately, I feel like this new generation of Niner fans who unfortunately weren't around to truthfully really see our greatness and see us win a Super Bowl. They have literally seen 3 L's, and they have been lulled into this mindset that we have to stick with Kyle because if we let him go, then we're never going to be good again. I don't think that's the truth. I don't think that this organization is just going to be a walking failure if Kyle walks out of the door. I think that we definitely can. We may have some, some rough years, but here's the thing. When Kyle Shanahan first got here, we had rough years. 2017, 2018 wasn't nothing to write home about. It wasn't until 2019 where we actually started winning and started doing things. So we had a couple of rough years with Kyle in the beginning. So we can't have a couple of rough years with a new head coach in the beginning. So we can give Kyle that pass, and we can say, hey, we were injured, and then we can give him every excuse in the book for his first couple of years here. But we can't do that for a new head coach that got to come in and learn the ropes. Like, I don't understand why everybody has this massive fear that we're just going to suck. And, Kyle's the best shot we got. Kyle has been to the mountaintop twice and failed you twice. The man literally forgot the overtime rules in the Super Bowl. He wouldn't keep his foot on the gas against Patrick freaking Mahomes, who in 2019, mind you, and I will continue to say this because these are the facts. In 2019, every single playoff game Patrick Mahomes played in, when he went in by halftime, he was losing. Every single playoff game. You don't believe me? Go look at the numbers. He was down every game. And every time right after halftime, he came and he found a way to win. If you know that is a strict pattern and you see that as a head coach, you must know I need to keep my foot on the gas. I've always said this as far as the mentality that I like my head coaches to have. I want my head coach to run the score up for no unadulterated reason. Like if you are score, if it is 40-0 in the fourth quarter and you are on the 1 yard line with 2 seconds left, call a timeout. Try to run it in on him. I want that guy. I want the score to be ran up to a point where you can't catch up. I need the guy with killer instinct. I want the dude that's going to step on your throat and watch the light flow from your eyes as your pupils dilate. I need that guy. I don't feel like Kyle Shanahan has that killer instinct. I don't feel like Jed York has the drive and the will to light a fire under his ass and say, hey, man, you better get the job done or you won't have one. I feel like Jed York is saying, hey, man, Kyle Shanahan keeps asses in seats. He keeps money coming in.
And that's all he cares about.
He's good for business. That's a businessman's mindset. So can I knock Jed York from a business perspective? No. But from a fan perspective, I can't, because you done lost 3 Super Bowls as an owner. And I know we can't fire the owner, but you're doing a horrible job there, sir. You're not winning Super Bowls. I guarantee you Jed York's full record while he has been owner of the 49ers is probably very, very bad, because we've had more losing seasons and winning seasons under him. And we've only had one head coach, honestly, here in his tenure as owner that actually had some consistency and didn't have a losing season. And he's coaching the damn Chargers.
Yeah, and Jed got in, and that was his biggest mistake. That was his downfall, what got Harbaugh to leave. But a lot of it just, you can admit, I even think even if you fire Kyle Shanahan, bro, we'll be mediocre regardless. But I think from Jed York's perspective, bro, he's not ever going to be the guy. As long as the Yorks are still running the team, it's gonna go worse. We're gonna go from different head coaches like changing underwears, bro. So it's like we had to go through different.
They don't have the drive, and that's what's killing me. You got to have the drive, the will, the want.
And that's the problem right there.
Actually win that Super Bowl. And that's part of the issue. When you have an owner who understands this team is worth over $8 billion. Yeah, so this team lines your pockets. And here's the thing. I will always say this. If you can keep hope alive, you know what you do? You keep fans in the stadium. You keep them buying paraphernalia. They support the team every year, and you get paid. It's very simple. The business model isn't hard, and that's the thing. That's what fans don't see. Fans, you got fair weather fans. They're around when the team does good, but when the team does bad, they hide and they don't really wear their Niner gear. You've got guys like us who are diehard fans. We love this team. We invest time. We put podcasts together to do things like this. You know what I'm saying? You've got super fans who go to every home game and travel with the team and all kinds of stuff. You've got different levels of fandom. But at the end of the day, all it really amounts to is, if I keep Kyle here, that means that I keep the money coming in and I don't have to worry about losing money, because he'll continue to give fans false hope that he's actually going to get the job done at some point. And For some fans, they say, well, if we can face another team besides the Chiefs, then that would be good. That's not good enough. If we face another team besides the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, so you're just going to keep running up against the buzzsaw that is Steve Spagnuolo, and he's just going to keep putting belt to ass every single time. You're never going to figure out how to beat this one dude. Like, I mean, come on, man. There are certain defensive coordinators that own Kyle Shanahan. Spags is one of them. Schwartz from Cleveland. We lucked out and got him. We beat him the last time, but he's a dude who has a great record against Kyle Shanahan. People have figured him out. And the key for me is you've been figured out. Your system is old as trash. I like what you've done this offseason. I'll give you that. Yes, bringing in Christian Kirk and Mike Evans was a good thing. I am still not sold on Ricky Pearsall. Give me a season where you can stay healthy, score some touchdowns, and actually do something for this team, and then I'll be sold on you. But until then, I don't know. I can tell you right now, to be honest with you, I think his job is in jeopardy. I think Deshaun Stribling might actually take his job. You know what I'm saying? You start getting that unhealthy streak. Yeah, and Stribling has that speed that we want. He's got the size. We literally drafted a faster Juwan Jennings.
Yeah, really faster Juwan with the physical kind of like style. He's a yak guy, but from your defense, man, so you're willing to roll the dice. It's going to be like, if you fire Kyle, we're going to go possibly. You're just hoping we can pull a Seattle out of our ass and try to get on Mike McDonald, which if I were a betting man, if I'm going to get any other candidate, I want to get somebody from the Sean McVay coaching tree because I know I'm going to get somebody who understands. Like Chris Shula is one of those guys, but I don't know if he's ready for that step, man. But he's got the DNA just like his grandfather and his family, dude. That's you
got to think about the Shanahans, the Shulas, the Kubiaks. These are like football families. Like these
football
people,
minds,
these are coordinators that this is what they do. You know what I'm saying? Kyle, and one thing that people forget, Kyle is a failed wide receiver, people.
He was a bench warmer receiver at Texas.
Failed wide receiver, bro. When he was Texas, he didn't get no love. Okay, Kyle Shanahan, I think he might have even gotten a text off the fact that his daddy was Mike. Okay, Kyle was not in any way, shape, or form set to be a superstar playing football. It just wasn't who he was, which is why he turned to coaching. And some people are better at that. There are several quarterbacks that are quarterback coaches right now and coaching up some fantastic prospects. And they were supposed to be great in the NFL. They just didn't have it. You know what I'm saying? Dan Orlovsky is a prime example. He does great. I like him as a commentator. I do. He has some.
But as a football player, he's
but I like him as a commentator. But as a football player, hot garbage. And he knows it. He'll tell you himself. Like literally when Jimmy stepped out of the end zone, he was like, hey, man, that's what I did. I made that famous.
And that's why his career cut short.
Yeah. So it's simply put for me, people, if you see this and you watch this, I know there's going to be a lot of people in the comments calling me dumb and crazy and stupid and whatever. I've been getting that forever since I've been talking about Kyle Shanahan and the job that he's done here. I will say this. I don't think Kyle Shanahan is ever going to win Super Bowl.
You don't think so?
He hasn't won one. There's something that's just not working. Something's not clicking. And I know everybody wants to they feel
maybe
like
for Kyle, it has to come down to a change of scenery to redeem it. But even if this is not one of his career, like there's just a lot of great coaches who have to get it figured out at some point. But you think he'll just be like another Mark Levy? You think he'll be like another Bud Grant, one of those guys?
Yeah, and that's my thing.
Marty Schottenheimer? Good God.
Here's the thing. Contrary to popular belief, I don't want that for him. I want him to get the job done. Because you know what? This is what I've said this before. I'll say it again, and I'll keep saying it because it's true. People will look at great players, and the first thing they're going to look for, did you win a ring? Did you get the job done?
They don't look at Dan Marino no way like that.
Listen to me. When you hear the name Marv Levy, do you think, damn, bro, he coached Bruce Smith and Jim Kelly and Andre Rice and Thurman Thomas and all of this plethora of talent, and Andre Reed and all this? Do you think of that? Or do you think 4 straight years, 4 straight Super Bowl losses?
Where they joke.
You think 4 losses. I don't want that stain on Kyle Shanahan's name. I want them to say, hey, he started off. He lost, 3, but he turned right back around and won 3. You know what I'm saying? He
That's what
evened
you
the
want to see out of
odds.
that narrative. Yeah, of course.
If Kyle Shanahan does not win a Super Bowl, you know what he's gonna have an asterisk next to his name. They're gonna go, Kyle was a great coach. He could just never get the job done. And you know what's gonna happen to all the Niner fans? I'm gonna jump on my channel and I'm gonna laugh in your face because I will have been proven correct that the man did not get the job done. I don't want him to fail. I truthfully don't. I would love him to.
You want him to succeed, of course.
I want him to
It's just
succeed.
your criticism.
If he wins the Super, I've said it on many occasions. If he wins the Super Bowl, I will shut up. But you're not getting the job done, so I have every reason to talk. The last thing I will say really quick is, if I'm Kyle Shanahan, I can't sleep. And you know why I can't sleep? Because I'm in May, and I've still got 2 months before I got to get my guys in camp. I want them in camp now. I want my guys going now. You know why? Because I need and I want to play Seattle again. And I need and I want to assert my dominance on that team. I want to take Seattle out for the beatdowns, ass whoopings we got from them last year. They beat the shit out of us on the way to winning the Super Bowl in our house.
And we couldn't do nothing about it.
As a human being, there is nothing worse than to play a sport and know another team came into your house and won
with disrespect
on your field. This is a direct division rival. There's no way you can tell me that these players ain't talking trash. Because if I was on Seattle, you would never hear the end of my mouth every time I stepped in the Levi's.
They would have their Richard Sherman
vibes.
I
smoked a cigar over there when we won the Super Bowl, bro. Hey, I didn't even go lie to you, bro. Hey, I'll bang my wife back there on having a side statement that y'all got, man. Like I will Dennis Rodman you every time I step on your field because you can't beat me. And I beat you, and I didn't beat you lightly. I beat the brakes off of you on the way to winning the Super Bowl
at your
house.
Yeah.
And I did it and celebrated on your field in your city.
It's like in this vice versa.
From a psychological standpoint, that sticks in your craw. That is just as bad as being a man being married and you walk in on your wife cheating on you.
And that's what I was gonna say.
And the dude looks at you
to the punch on that, man.
The dude turns around and looks at you as he's hitting your wife in the back and says,
"He ain't gonna do shit.
Why don't you close the door and get up out of here? I'm in the middle of something." And has no regard for your presence, like doesn't even respect the fact, doesn't get scared, doesn't flinch. He ready to go right back to work, and you're just gonna be chilling, you just getting in there. No, you getting bullied in your own division. This is why I say you have now become the 3rd best head coach in your own division.
And you got
2 head coaches have Super Bowl wins. The other one, Mike, you can't even put LaFleur in there because he's new.
He's still got time. He's got time because he's brand new, of course. But that can be embarrassing if he wins one, man. But
that's exactly it. Put it like this: if the media still gives Kyle an insane amount of credit, and LaFleur comes in and wins a Super Bowl before he does, I will go nuclear. I will call out every media pundit. I want all the smoke. You can come on my little channel and with my, only so many followers. You could come there and I smoke you about Kyle Shanahan. If you let another head coach in your division get a Super Bowl and you ain't got one, you got to start. I'm sorry. I don't know what's going to light a fire under your ass to get that Super Bowl win. But if another head coach comes from outside, comes into your division and wins a Super Bowl, and that doesn't light a fire under your butt, I don't know what will. You must get to the mountaintop and you must conquer it. You cannot get there again and keep losing. And I've even asked, I even put a poll up on X and straight up said, if Kyle Shanahan loses another Super Bowl, do you still have faith in him? Should we fire or keep him? And you know what was crazy? Fans said keep him. Now, mind you, the numbers were a little bit low, but it still weighed in the favor of fans saying keep him. So that tells me that fans they have the same mindset that you have. Hey, I don't want to go to mediocrity. I don't want to take a year off. When even under Kyle Shanahan, we've been up and down. It's been a wave. It has not been a straight line. So all of those media pundits out there, every year, you're in the playoffs. Every year you have a chance
I
to
mean, I
Super
love
Bowl.
that party, but I don't want to crash.
Yeah,
It's
like
just
at the end of the day, you don't have a chance every year. You don't go to the Super Bowl every year. You know why? Because Kyle
you
Shanahan
just
is
compete,
either up or he's down. That is
one or
it.
the other.
You can't keep painting a picture of someone that doesn't exist. That's like me running around telling people I'm 6'4" when I'm only 5'6" in real life. But I tell everybody I'm 6'4", and if you never meet me in real life, you have to go ahead and say, yeah, that guy's 6'4", unless you find a picture of me standing next to somebody that's 6'4", and then you realize this person's lying. You don't want to
That's like me saying
yeah.
I'm about like as it is, man. But if you were to describe my height, how tall do you think I am, man, compared to you?
CG, I don't know. I'm
No. But if you're guessing, man, you're gonna meet me at some point. We're gonna meet down the road.
You played offensive line, so I would say you probably had to be at least about 5'10", 5'11".
No, I'm about 6'3",
6'3". Okay, yeah.
around 350.
Most linemen got to be at least like a good 6 foot just to play, because you got to be able to, you got to have the length.
You'll see me as like built like a house, like an offensive line house, where I'm
But
getting a little younger, but
I will say this. I'm realistic. I do understand that Kyle Shanahan will be here. That will not stop me from complaining until he gets the Super Bowl, and that we so righteously deserve as fans. As fans, we deserve for us to be out there, have fun, and be able to go and know that we actually can win the Super Bowl. At this point, well, if we get to the Super Bowl, the number one thing we're hoping is that the Chiefs aren't healthy. It's literally that bad.
We're hoping that the Chiefs found a way to struggle, or at least.
And I will say this, Chiefs fans, you're not going to have Patrick Mahomes for the start of the season. It's not happening.
I'm hoping it's the Steelers in the Super Bowl because we own Aaron Rodgers. Dude, just imagine playing the Steelers. That would be the.
If you want to turn this conversation around and make it funny, you mentioned the guy. Aaron Rodgers, people, has been a crybaby since we didn't draft him. He's been whining.
And it would be something he can live with forever.
And whenever we play him, we beat him. The only time Aaron Rodgers has beaten us in recent memory was in the COVID year. And that was when he told Fred Warner he was the greatest linebacker ever. Well, greatest linebacker playing, should I say, not ever, but playing. And most of the time when we beat him, we beat the brakes off of him. You don't remember what Colin Kaepernick did to him? Because we beat the brakes off of him. And the funny thing is, if you look at it, give me a sec. The two quarterbacks actually wanted to be quarterbacks for the teams that they were playing against. Aaron Rodgers is a born and bred California boy. He wanted to be the 49ers quarterback.
And Tom Brady.
Colin Kaepernick was living in Milwaukee, in Wisconsin. And he was a Packer fan. And he wanted
it was like
to be
the opposite turn.
Quarterback for the Packers. So it was just the opposite thing. But I will say this. Does Kyle Shanahan give you a off chance to win? Yes and no. He has up seasons, he has down seasons. And technically speaking, based off of his current track record, this is going to be a down season. That's what it should be. Because his up and down, last year was our up. This could be our down. I'm not stating that it will be. I'm hoping that he gives us another year of consistency.
Third place schedule.
But based off of his track record, this technically should be a down year. And unfortunately,
right?
We play who again this season? And all of us have said the same thing, like I said earlier in the video. We play the Chiefs. And
they're the Kryptonites.
That's an L. If Kyle Shanahan can actually just beat the Chiefs, just regular season, just beat them.
Builds confidence.
That would build a massive amount of confidence for him. That build a massive amount of confidence for the team. Because you got to think about it like this. Fred Warner been around all that time. He ain't beat the Chiefs. You know what I'm saying? Dre Greenlaw was around when we ain't beat the Chiefs. You know, there are players that are George Kittle's been around. We ain't beat the Chiefs. Like all of these guys, you got to think in your brain and say, dang, man, I'll never beat these dudes. We never do. It's like when I ran track, I always knew who I could beat and who I couldn't. Truthfully, I did. I knew who could possibly edge me out and who couldn't. But that did not stop me from going out there and competing. It made me work harder. It made me think smarter. It made me eventually want to find a way to beat those people. And I did. Every last one of the guys that I knew I couldn't beat, I wound up getting them. Why? Because I worked hard for it. I wanted it. And anytime I took an L to them, it only gave me more fuel and more fire and more drive. But what I can tell you this, I have no aspirations of going out there now trying to run against Noah Lyles or trying to run against Kashane Thompson or Leslie Tabogo. Like, I'm not running against these dudes for no reason. I know I'd pull a hamstring and they'd laugh at me because they'd be blowing down the field and I wouldn't even be at the 20-yard line. They'd be already finished across the finish line. It's just how quick it is. So it's understanding that sometimes you run up against a buzzsaw, but you got to eventually conquer that mountain. And that's what we want to do.
You got to beat
you
those
got to
demons.
have that drive, that will, that hunger to be the best. And I need for Kyle Shanahan to instill that into himself and to say to himself, I am no longer taking any L's. I'm not doing no more losing seasons. I'm about to run the score up on all y'all. Y'all thought I was playing. It's play time's over. And when I get to the Super Bowl, I'm going to keep my foot on the gas so hard that I'm going to score even if I got a millisecond left. Like I need that inside of him because I don't see it from him. And
he's got to have that instinct, but he seems to be the nicest person. You know, he's just too much of a friendly person. Just the same way with the Yorks.
And the other thing I'll say is, when it comes to players, stop with the nepotism. Because somebody doesn't mean that they're going to be good for the team, Kyle. You do that a lot. You always helping out the homie. You got to stop that. Not every homie is going to work. You wouldn't pick up Ben Barch because you knew who he was. And what Ben Barch did, he'll play great one game and then he get injured. Never show up again. So it's knowing and understanding. You must have that want, that will, that drive, that hunger, that need to win the Super Bowl. And you must instill it in your players. You got to look at your players like if it's me and we go in at halftime in 2019 and we're up, the first thing I do is look at my players and go, Patrick Mahomes this year has continually come from behind to win. He is not doing that to us. If you think about it, Patrick Mahomes got 2 out of his 3 Super Bowls off of us.
Yeah, from coming from behind, but it's like we become the Bengals.
Yeah, you can't. You get up, but then you can't go anywhere. So just once again, people, my idea is when you get the job done, I'll shut up. But since you haven't gotten the job done, you give me a reason to keep talking. And on top of that, I don't have any reason to believe that if he does go anywhere else, that people are going to, people are like, well, if he gets fired, it'll be the hottest coaching candidate. Yeah, of course. That's obvious.
He'll get hired within 24 hours.
He'll get hired within seconds. He'd have so many offers on the table, it'd make his head spin. But what I will tell you is, while those offers may be there, a lot of those owners are just looking and going, can he get the job done, though? Because when you look at somebody as a new head coach, your idea of them is, hey, I'm going to give you a head coaching contract for most likely 4 to 5 years. And in those 4 to 5 years, I expect you to figure it out and get us to a Super Bowl and actually win it. That's what I expect. Or at least give me some consistency to a point where I can extend your contract and say, you know what, we're on the brink. We need a little bit more time. I see it. I think this guy's got it. Let's give him a couple more years. Like, you got to at least do that. And see, Kyle has done the latter. He's like Jed York is like, I see it. We're almost there. We're not there yet, but I see it. Here's the thing. You can't see it for almost 10 years and nothing is happening. You can't watch 2 other head coaches in your direct division, Jed York, 2 other owners. One of those owners being brand new to the game. Brand new, because the current owner for the Rams, I forget his name.
Stan Kroenke, yeah.
Yeah, he hasn't owned the Rams as long as I don't know. Well, no, actually, no, Kroenke. I don't know how long he's owned the Rams, but I don't know if he's owned them longer than York's owned the Niners. You know what I'm saying? So
the ownership was by that woman from the Rams before. Then she had to sell the team.
Yeah, she had to sell the team. So it's you got owners that had less time than you, Jed York, and one quicker than you. You got head coaches in your division that have had less time than Kyle and won the actual Super Bowl and beat him on the way to doing it. That's the thing. Beat him on the way to doing it.
Yeah.
So Sean McVay beat you on the way to winning the Super Bowl. Mike McDonald beat you on the way to winning the Super Bowl.
Well, you had to beat Kyle and Sean at the same time.
And that's what I'm saying. So you got these dudes. You can't go to owners' meetings. You can't go to head coach stuff and not. Then I know these dudes is on your head. I know I would be. You wouldn't be able to shut me up. You would hate me. You would really hate me because I would shove it down your throat every chance I got. And I beat the brakes off of you 3 times in a row on the way to win the Super Bowl in your house, and I partied in your backyard, and ain't nothing you can do about it. I will remind you of that every chance I get to psychologically break you down. That is literally one thing that people do not take into account, the psychology of these things. You have to think forward. You cannot think backward. But that's me. I rest my case on the Kyle Shanahan thing. Once again, people, I am realistic. Kyle Shanahan will be here for the foreseeable future. I don't see Jed York firing him. He likes him. He keeps the money coming in. Whether he has an up and down season or whether he gives you 3 years of consistency out of 9, it doesn't matter. Winning Super Bowls does not matter to Jed York. I'm going to tell y'all right now, y'all fans, you've been lulled into the BS. Be smart about it. Always temper your expectations. Remain cautiously optimistic, but do not get fully invested. Because if you do, you're only going to unfortunately have your heart broken. And the reason being is because the last 2 times we went to the Super Bowl, we've taken L's against the same damn team. The three-headed monster that is Spags, Reed, and Mahomes. And the number one thing is, what we have to remember is, honestly, the other 2, Reed and Mahomes, they're not the problem. You know who the problem is? It's called Steve Spagnuolo. He owns Kyle Shanahan.
He's a good DC.
Time, he finds a way to win.
Yeah, that's what the unfortunate part. But
another thing for you Chiefs fans out there. Number 1, Patrick Mahomes ain't gonna be ready to start the season. Number 2, can you keep your wide receiver out of jail? Good Lord.
Oh God.
Every year. Why? What is it? Why?
That's insane. But I get your point, man. But hey, let's finish on a good note, man. Let's just put a little roast. Let's go for a 1-minute freestyle, man, because I'm gonna roast you since it has to be a little one-on-one.
You go right ahead, baby.
I'll go with the first. All right, I'm gonna do the roast. So, Not a Game Podcast. All I hear is you talking. Instead of Not a Game Podcast, it's Whiner Game Podcast, because all I hear is Kyle 24/7 filling you, man. You act like my older brother, man. He has some delusional mind, but you're realistic. You're trying to say you're realistic, but you hate, bro. What kind of lead are you in, bro? You about to pull the choke job like Detroit Lions, bro. When it comes to the argument, Kyle tends to prove you, but the only thing you want is the biggest fat ring. I come into your house, and you ain't going to do nothing about it, man. I'm the big bully in the block. And what are you going to do when Kyle finally gets over the hump? Are you going to stay shut, or are you going to be talking just like Ice Cube's little flash flow, man? You're going to be talking until he proves otherwise. But I'm going to come here and protect my coach. And that's what the role's going to be, bro. Once I see you in the desert, bro, it's not going to be I see you. It's more I'm going to meet with you and get you a beer, bro. And that's all I'm going to roll with.
And this is what I would say. CG Ruthless, you continue are going ahead and protecting a head coach who has consistently failed in the Super Bowl. You are protecting a head coach who, if you go to the fourth quarter and he is losing, he will wind up losing the game. You are protecting a head coach who openly joked about being a failure at drafting running backs, being a failure at winning Super Bowls, and then laughed in our faces. You're protecting a head coach who couldn't coach a black quarterback to save his life. You are protecting a head coach that continually loses in the Super Bowl, doesn't win. You are protecting a head coach who does not have killer instinct, who doesn't know how to keep his foot on the gas, and who has not coached his team to an actual win in the Super Bowl. We are giving credence to a head coach who at one point in his head coaching career was literally the worst head coach for the 49ers ever. And that to me says that you are protecting a head coach because you feel you remember some names. You remember Jim Tomsula. You remember Chip Kelly. You remember Mike Singletary. And you get scared. You start to shiver in your boots. You quiver. You think of those guys and you get scared and you run. And that's okay. It's okay to run and hide every now and then. But what I will tell you is Come out of those places that you are hiding in. Turn around and hold your head coach accountable. Force him to understand that if you do not get the ultimate prize, which is another Lombardi in the case, that you will wind up without a job. We know that everybody will run and come and jump and love on you and say, hey, come over here. We believe in you. We have faith in you. But what they would tell you behind closed doors, Kyle, is that, damn, you look good. You got a great offensive mind. We don't know if you can get the job done. You know why? You've shown us on 3 separate occasions you cannot. You've shown us you can't beat Steve Spagnuolo. You've shown us that Mike Schwartz actually owns you. You got 1 win against him. You've shown us that you don't know how to evaluate quarterback talent properly because you chose C.J. Beathard over Patrick Mahomes because you saw something in C.J. Beathard. These are egregious and fireable offenses. The Trey Lance debacle. All of these things is what you are protecting right now. You are protecting your head coach who can't keep his head out of his ass and not draft a running back because he doesn't know how to develop them properly. He only knows how to work with undrafted free agents. This is the guy that you're protecting. But when I meet you, there will be beers. There will be fun. And it's nothing but love, baby. I got nothing but love.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And yeah, man, I guess I gotta give you credit on that one, man. You put a beating on me on that one, man. I'll take it because man, I was on something, but then it just slowed down and you just came with it. You kind of slowly took it down.
I want everybody to understand, man. I got nothing but love for CG, me and him cool. We have fun talking. We have fun talking football, and what I want y'all to understand about me is all I care about is winning and greatness. Exactly. I want this team to get back to that level that we had in the 80s. I want teams to fear us. I want them to stay up at night worried about us. I want to have so many weapons that they can't think, damn, okay, I'm just stopping Christian McCaffrey, game over. I don't have to worry about it. No, I want you to worry about McCaffrey. I want you to worry about Kittle. I want you to worry about Stribling. I want you to worry about Pearsall and Evans and Kirk and all of the offensive weapons that we have. You need to be up at night worried the night before you play us. And I want that for our team. I want us to get back to greatness. And I think that everything will be a good thing. I don't think that Kyle Shanahan has another down year this year, even though history says that he should. I think, honestly, he can coach his team to at least getting to the playoffs. Here's the key for you, Kyle. You should have 2 games circled on your list. And it's both times we play the Seahawks. Those should be the games that you say, honey, I love you, but you're not getting number one, you're not getting none tonight. Okay. I need pent up frustration in here. Okay. I'm not giving you none. Okay. We ain't making love today. All right. I need all that frustration and all that anger and that rage. I am going to stay up and I need to concoct an offense that Mike McDonald ain't never seen. I need to hit him in so many different ways that his head is spinning. And I need to talk to I need to talk to Raheem Morris and go, hey, I know what you did last year where Atlanta led the league in sacks. I need that for this team. I need you to work with the guys that we got, figure it out. You and Kasserick and KJ Wright and everybody, y'all come together,
figure this
out, become one creative mind, and I need them. I want to massacre the Seahawks.
We want to dominate.
I don't want to beat them. I don't want to beat them, 21-19. I want to beat them 45-0. I want to blow them out of the water. I want to make Jackson Smith and Jigba's new contract look like he didn't even earn it. Like you've got.
I want Lenore to just show that he was the best corner of that game. Yeah.
Yes, you got to have that hunger and that drive. Those 2 games, 2 times we played the Seahawks. That, and to be honest with you, the only other game you need to circle on your list is Kansas City. Because by the time we play Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes will be on the field. I can tell you that.
But he probably won't be at a full strength at the point because he
it don't matter. It don't matter.
One-leg Mahomes, we'll have to see how he goes.
You can be one-leg Mahomes, you can be two-leg Mahomes. At the end of the day, Mahomes beats Kyle, and that's just the fact. We lose to him. So you got to have those 3 games. If you think along the lines, I beat the Seahawks twice, and I finally conquered that mountain that is the Kansas City Chiefs. Your confidence,
that builds confidence right there
through the roof, and there should be nothing that stops you on your way to getting
and dominating the Rams on a consistent basis will put you.
Yeah, because we have been up and down with the Rams. But
yeah,
once again, people, I want us to win. I want that 6-1 party. That is my sole drive and my I think. And I've been watching Kyle Shanahan for the past 9 years, and unfortunately, we have not gotten it done. And that's where that's where I draw the line. We giving you 9 years, you ain't got it done. And there's head coaches that have been in this league and been head coaches in less time than you, and they've gotten the job done. It's making you look bad because everybody gives you the moniker and lure of greatest offensive mind, but yet you can't even get the job done.
Absolutely. That's where we stayed alive. But hey, man, we went on pretty long, bro. We had a good debate on it, man. At the end of the day, man, we are just fans of the team and we want what's best for them. And it's pretty much like, pretty soon I'm gonna see you, and we'll definitely put a link up on the video, man. We're gonna meet up, bro. So it's not gonna be out of the question, man, because I got family right down there. Give it within 4 to 5 months. I'm gonna get everything settled in. I gotta save up some money, dude. I'm already gonna start packing some stuff off of this apartment, so it's gonna take some time. But got my guard card from the state of Arizona, so I shouldn't have no problem finding a job over there.
Oh yeah, and there's plenty of places. Look up Pride Group. They always got stuff. Like
my cousin,
bro.
Yeah, my cousin works at Universal or what is it, Ally Security or some shit.
Oh yeah. But no,
he's a manager.
Check out Pride Group. They have they have events upon events upon events. I see them all the time everywhere, and they're really big out here in Arizona. So
I'm pretty sure the market's big over there.
Yeah, you'll be able to get something good, man. But yeah, we're gonna get up out of here, y'all. Nice debate. CG got me with his roast. He let me know what was up.
Man.
We had a great time, man.
You sure did, man.
Oh snap! Look at Dave came in. Dave, you got.
Oh, Dave came too late, man. Hey, next time, David, man, it's gonna be a debate next time, man. Get your Mormon booty over here next time on this show, man, and take that shine of jabroni beat, man, and get it. And I'm just playing, bro.
We got nothing but love.
I love Minata, bro. He's good. I just like messing around.
Dave is the homie. That's my guy.
Yeah, man. We're gonna try to see what happens this season. Let's hope for the best, and for everybody tuning in, bro. We pretty much gonna call it a day. Maybe down the road we'll catch up, but
yes, sir.
I'll see you on the road, Jack.
All right, appreciate you.